See, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just drinking.
I was not able to turn myself in. I apologize for that.
Did you call your attorney and say you couldn't make it?
But again, I don't know why it's coming up with that. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. So honestly, I'm telling you, I don't have access to
I'm going to tell you, I'm not believing what she's telling. I just don't think she's going to do what anybody asked her to do.
I can assure you I'll be here on the 1st.
You're just not following through. You don't do what you don't want to do. Well, it doesn't work that way. But at this time, defendant's bond is revoked.
This woman walked into Judge Simpson's courtroom already on thin ice. She was out on bond for substance problems, but instead of following the rules, she tampered with her ankle monitor and was caught drinking. When confronted, she denied it all, as if nobody else could see what was really happening. But Judge Simpson doesn't play games. Lying in his courtroom is basically asking to be sent straight back to jail. Bond is about trust, and she broke that trust. Watching her scramble for excuses was tough to watch. Do you think the judge was too strict or just doing what was right?
We are here for PCC and bond violation. I understand the court has received and reviewed the materials that were sent over yesterday.
I did.
Thank you, Your Honor. The only request that we would have when we're discussing those materials, she is staying in a shelter in Livingston County. There is a separate DB having nothing to do with any of this, and there are some cross allegations in that case. So she's just requesting that we not say the name of the shelter if someone is listening on Zoom to where she's staying.
Understood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that the materials that we provided were pretty thorough in terms of where Ms. Brown has been coming from and what her circumstances are in pertaining to the bond violation. So I was wondering if the court had any questions.
Well, I do, because I'm not sure how you provided the materials, but I'm not sure how that relates to the specific allegations of the bond violation. Because what I have, certainly, maybe one might be able to look at the consumption of alcohol, but there was a tampering that occurred for a 12-hour period.
So I am going to let Ms. Brown address that herself with the court. You can explain to him where you're at in terms of the allegation of I had forwarded her the reports the same day. And just so that Your Honor knows, she did intend to turn herself into the jail this morning, but she was unable to get a ride this morning. And so she's here for in-person court this afternoon. So regarding the tamper on 623 and then the positive on 625, the court is looking for either an explanation or an admission as to these two.
Your Honor, I don't have any clue why those were coming up that way. I know that I was called in to community corrections to have my unit replaced for servicing. And when on my way there, Ms. Julian called me and said that she received a notification from courts that I had a tampering and violation that she wanted clarification about. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I told her that I was just called in to do a replacement on the unit itself. I have only been at La Casa AA meetings and with AA people because I don't currently have transportation and a license to get myself to and from these places. And I have not had access or been in the environments of drinking whatsoever. The only events outside of AA are AA events that I've been to, such as there was a sober rave in Royal Oak that I've gone to, but that wasn't even in the dates in question. So I'll stop with that. But I was completely confused. So I had the unit replaced. And while at community corrections, they had told me that I had this tampering and violation, 2 counts. And I was in for my reading the week before during this time. And they said that I was all set, good to go. We'll see you next week. And so I was really unsure why I was getting that unless it was due to needing servicing. But I've saying, Your Honor, this is way too important.
Well, hold on a second. Just so that we're clear before you go on with your story.
Okay.
On June 23rd at the 12:56 a.m. time.
Yes, sir.
That's when the tamper is detected.
Okay.
With the unit. On the 25th, there isn't a tamper. It's just drinking.
Again, I don't know why it's coming up with that unless the servicing part of it needed it. Because at the shelter where I'm currently residing, there's a locked door policy from 11:30 p.m. until 7 in the morning. And I didn't have access any of those days to alcohol or have them in my possession at a no drinking facility. And I was at the facility at both of those times.
Her story doesn't make sense at all. She claims sneaking alcohol into a shelter is impossible, but we all know that's not true. Shelters have rules, but people bend them all the time. Acting like it's impossible just makes her sound less believable. Instead of defending herself, she's only hurting her case with excuses. The judge even gave her a chance to explain, but she wasted it. I'm not saying she's definitely guilty, but her arguments are weak. Bad excuses never help when the odds are already against you. What do you think? Is she lying or just really unlucky? She argued that shelter records proved she didn't drink and asked for a hearing about her ankle monitor. Judge Simpson agreed to set it for August, but another issue came up. She ignored a warrant and didn't turn herself in. Her lawyer admitted she told her to surrender, but instead, the woman made excuses like not having a ride. Judge Simpson pointed out that she doesn't follow instructions and just does whatever she feels like. For Judge Simpson, the choice was simple. She broke bond conditions by drinking and then skipped out on a warrant. Bond is basically a deal. The court trusts you to obey the rules, and you promise to follow them. She broke that deal. Even though she begged to stay out for medical and therapy appointments, the judge didn't believe her. He said she wasn't reliable and couldn't be trusted. In the end, he revoked her bond and kept her in custody until the next hearing. Violating bond is bad enough, but ignoring a warrant is the nail in the coffin. Once the court sees you won't follow through, it's almost impossible to get another chance. Judge Simpson actually showed a lot of patience, but after excuse, he had no choice. Some people only learn the hard way, and this was one of those cases. Personally, I think he was fair. What do you think? Should she have been given another chance, or did she bring this on herself?